Now, it may come as a surprise to many of you that just last year, before this program started, I was living in a retirement community in Florida at the ripe old age of 29. As you can see here with me and my pickleball team. I spent every day surrounded by people over the age of 65. And what I learned during this time was unexpected. Okay, not everything was unexpected. I got really good at playing cards. I learned how to make a mean gin and tonic. And I learned that you can pretty much put any meal on a toothpick. It's true. But this isn't the most important thing that I learned. Sitting around and talking to the residents of this community, learning about what the world was like in a different time, and realizing how much things have changed after hearing their lived experiences. This experience reshaped and informed my sense and understanding of history. And after that experience, I came here to Scripps to begin this master's program. And in those first few weeks, I was both inspired and overwhelmed by the passionate people around me that you've gotten to hear from today, and what we were learning, which wasn't always easy to learn. We are a marine biodiversity and conservation program, and lecturers across many different scientific disciplines come to speak to us, and almost all of them have the same underlying message, even the same graph in their lectures. All to say that climate change is the biggest issue we are facing. And so it was the combination of these experiences that led to the creation of my capstone project, where I set out to make a short film interviewing people at Scripps, both the young students and older professors, about their personal stories, experiences, thoughts, and feelings around climate change. So there are three concepts I'm exploring with this piece: the power of a person's story, scientists as humans, and stories across generations. Stories have the ability to build relationships, empathy, and understanding. They can compel people to take action. They can be a catalyst for emotions. Storytelling lets us, humans, make sense of the world. Research shows just how important storytelling is. It's proven that narrative communication uses a different cognitive pathway of comprehension than scientific information. Studies also show that narrative processing is more efficient than scientific processing. The short film you'll see today showcases the stories of scientists at Scripps, people whose names are attached to scientific results and rarely seen as individuals with their own lived experiences and feelings. Scientists and conservationists at Scripps are faced with hard truths about our world every day. Their stories add to the difficult discourse around the heavy existential topic of climate change. And I believe their stories can be a bridge and entry point into the world of science. Storytelling has been used as a way to pass down knowledge from one generation to the next. This is valued in many other cultures, specifically indigenous culture, where elder knowledge is extremely valued. In science, there is the concept of shifting baselines, the idea that each generation's normal is based on what they see in the present, rather than in the past. Therefore, the baseline shifts with the loss of each generation. Just as my experience in the retirement home showed me, there is value in preserving stories from the oldest living generation, and this should be considered in science communication as well. So I hope you enjoy my film.
I've been at Scripps for 25 years. I'm a professor of geosciences, and I'm interested in climate change and ice from Antarctica.
I'm here in San Diego to broaden my perspective on marine conservation and climate change.
I was born in 2002. I am a third-year undergrad studying marine biology and minoring in environmental studies.
Coming to Scripps made me into an oceanographer. Graduated in 1982. I sort of merged the climate change interests with my deep sea interests.
Seeing how impacted rural poor farmers in India are, that was something that really inspired me to dedicate myself to studying climate change.
I'm an ecologist from Cape Verde Islands in the middle of the Atlantic. I'm trying to build a management plan for a marine protected area back home.
Climate crisis has become a crisis. It used to be something that people were trying to solve for future generations, and now it's something we're trying to solve for now.
It's already present. It's not the future. Climate change will come. It already changed. It's not a climate change. It's like climate changed, and period.
Global warming is dangerous because it's not a time scale that we humans are used to dealing with. And I really thought that we'd have the problem solved in, a decade or so. And I was so wrong.
My generation failed to adequately communicate climate science and environmental science to the public.
There is a sense of doom and anxiety and helplessness that we've grown up with, and that could be something that motivates us and inspires us to do amazing things, but it's also challenging. Just have grown up in an environment of like, humans really messed up.
Frustrating. Y'all really didn't care enough to preserve that for your grandkids.
I couldn't believe that it could happen so near where I live. The Philippines has over 500 coral species. So we went to that bay. There was an alert that this area would be hit by ocean warming. The waters were so calm, it was so glassy. So when we were on the boat going to our station, we could see that the corals were already white. We became numb at some point. Seeing it in front of me is like, okay, we have to do something about this.
The oceans are just one. We can pretend that we have Pacific and we have Atlantic.
I do think people can solve almost any problem they want to, including this one.
It's more important that we maintain optimism while also being aware of our own individual power.
The students are trying to persuade the administration to stop using methane. We all marched up to 6th College lawn where we started this teach-in.
Once you're educated, you can decide what is the way that I can make the most impact.
This is something that I always say. It's not people and nature. It's just nature. It's like people, human, are part of nature.
Go outdoors to get some motivation and inspiration on what we could lose.
I believe, in 30 years we could be living our lives completely in a different way on this planet, and we could be far more harmonized and compatible with nature. And I hope that happens. I hope I live to see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Trying not to get emotional, okay. So what you have seen today is such a small piece of the content I've gathered, and I plan to continue gathering. I want to continue this project. I want to continue collecting stories, reaching out to different communities outside of Scripps, producing more content with the hope of creating a longer version of this film eventually. If you would like to stay up to date on this project, you can scan this QR code and follow along as I keep working on this. I'm going to leave you all with this thought. The issues caused by climate change are going to require each one of us to get involved, to get knowledgeable, and make a difference. I truly believe there is a place for art and storytelling, as I'm sure you've seen today, in science, and that it could be used to reach people in ways that scientific results just can't. I have so many people to thank. This project would not have been possible without the people that you saw on film, but also so many other people. Every person that shared their story with me, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I was so humbled by this experience and having you talk about feelings. Scientists don't usually talk about their feelings, so it was definitely a stretch for some people, but I'm so appreciative to the ones you saw on screen and the ones you didn't. I want to thank my committee members, my co-chairs, Patty and Samantha. Your support was incredible and so valuable. I want to thank Jeremy Jackson and Kate Furby. I want to thank this cohort, the other professors involved, my friends and family. And actually, I have one more thing. You remember that retirement community that I was living in? Well, before I left, I passed around this book, and I asked them all to write advice to their 30-year-old self. So I'm going to share a little piece of advice as my gift to you. In life, you are going to encounter lots of hurdles and obstacles. Savor every minute of every day. Live as deeply as you can. Feel things for memories. Be yourself. And P.S., never stop playing pickleball. Thank you.
What was your favorite part of this process, Nikki?
Great question, Samantha. Thank you for asking that. My favorite part was sitting down with each of these people. What you don't know is that I did not just sit down with them, put a camera in front of them, and say, okay, let's talk about your feelings. I sat down with these people 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I wanted to build a relationship with each of my subjects. I wanted for them to feel comfortable sharing this with me. It's not an easy topic to talk about. Clearly, it's not being talked about a lot, right? How we all feel about what's happening. And that's really why I came here to this program, and to be surrounded by this cohort and this community of people that care like I do and want to do something about it has completely changed me. I mean, I'll never be the same after this project. That's a really good question. You know, I would say coming into this and coming to this program, I had a pretty good sense about climate change and climate change science. I had been taking classes, and I guess it's kind of funny to do this project where I'm trying to inspire people and invoke emotions and not really thinking about the impact it also was having on me. And it wasn't until I really started processing the whole experience, but my understanding and concept of climate change has expanded in ways I never thought possible. From talking to people that work on this problem every day, that have seen horrible things and flew all the way around the world to come here and make a difference back in their country. I mean, I had no idea that I would be so impacted by it.